Merlene Emerson from Twickenham and Richmond, who will be speaking for Amendment 1 and for lines 28 to 32 in the main motion.
Conference, I'm pleased to have been called to speak in favour of this motion as a whole and of Amendment 1, in particular lines 1 to 4. As fate would have it last night, I sat at dinner next to an ex-banker who works for a Spanish wind turbine manufacturer with factories in China. Why a Spanish company, not British? I asked. And why base the plants in China? That, conference, perhaps sums up the dilemma we have in the UK. We are in a global race and others are ahead of us. There is an urgent need to play catch-up with Europe, China, America, such as the state of California. The private sector will follow, but only if conditions are favourable. None of the top 10 wind turbine manufacturers are British, 4 are Chinese, and that is because their government has set aggressive targets for wind power and forcing the utilities to buy wind-generated electricity at high tariffs. My dinner companion said, well, I think in the case of wind turbines, the UK has just gotten too late. Maybe in the case of offshore wind farms and tidal energy, we may have an edge, especially with the setting up of the Low Carbon Technology and Innovation Centre and the Green Investment Bank coming live by 2013. As an aside, I remember mentioning the Green Investment Bank at Hustings when I stood as PPC for Hammersmith, a Lib Dem policy that is now becoming a reality. There is another area where we should and can focus for alternative energy source to reduce our reliance on dwindling fossil fuels, and that's in the area of biomass, turning waste into electricity. This is, of course, alluded to, though not specifically mentioned, in lines 2 to 4 of Amendment 1, which I strongly recommend we adopt. Here in Birmingham, we actually have a council that is ahead of all others in launching the Green Revolution. It has the vision to power the city with local biomass resources. Collaborating with Aston University, where the European Bioenergy Research Institute, EBRI for short, is based. The project manages to be self-financing on the back of profits, selling its new innovative technologies, gasification, pyrolysis, converting from grass cuttings, sewage sludge into electricity that can be fed into the grid. With lower energy costs, the council is, of course, able to attract businesses to set up here. Where I live in London, Richmond, the council has brought in separate food waste collection for many years now. We need to get more local authorities doing the same. Which brings me to my final point, which is perhaps my only criticism of this motion. While there's nothing wrong that I can disagree in the motion, it does slightly lack in specifics of what new jobs will be created, within what projected time frame. Just a year ago, Chris Yoon had hailed the Green Deal, which is the plan to insulate 26 million homes and create as many as 250,000 jobs in the process. Let us strengthen the mechanisms to ensure that this pledge will be fulfilled. May I close by reiterating what I said at the start of the speech. Let's not be left behind in the global race. We need the government to lead and not expect the private sector to miraculously pick up the slack with new jobs. And where the playing field is not even, it may be necessary for our government to tilt the playing field in our favour so that it is. Conference, I commend the motion to you and Amendment 1, creating growth and jobs and cutting carbon emissions. Thank you.
Thank you, Merlene.